Okay, here is 0-6. It's found on page P20. We're talking about percent proportion. So, what are we learning today? We're learning how to solve percent proportions. Why are we doing this? The reason why we are doing this is we will be given sentences with percents and numbers. So why are we doing this? Because we will be given sentences with percents and numbers. And I'm going to go ahead and say example. We could go ahead and find out how much I need to get on a test to get like a 93%. So instead of writing that out, I'll just say that out loud. That's what we're actually doing is, hey, if I want to get a 93% on a test, how many am I going to have to get out of? Let's say that there's 34 questions. We're going to be able to answer that today. Prior knowledge. So we know what a fraction is, but what does a fraction represent? We know what a fraction is. So a fraction is, let's say, 4 over 9. But what does 4 over 9 represent? Some of us have already been saying it in class. It is literally a part over a whole. So it's the part over a whole. We know what a percent is, but we need to describe what a percent is as a fraction. So if I said 70%, what does that mean? That literally means 70 out of 100. So my part is 70, my whole will always be 100. Will always be 100. So for number 3, if we actually put our prior knowledge together, we could create a template for a percent proportion. A percent proportion is a proportion. So one side we have a fraction, the other we will have another fraction. Our template, which we are always going to use, is going to be a part over a whole, which will actually equal the percent that we're given over 100. That is our template that we will always use. So here we go, new knowledge. So given a question, we must use our template to label the part, whole, percent, then solve. So here we go. On letter A, it says 25 is what percent of 125? 25 would be my part. What percent? I don't know, but that's my percent, right? Of 125 would be my whole. It's out of 125. So if this is my template that I will use, my part would be 25. So that goes on the upper side. My whole is 125. My percent is what I was not given, and it's always over 100. Now I can go ahead and solve this proportion. I'm going to multiply both sides by 125, 100, 125, 100, which is the same as cross multiply. My 125 goes away, so I'm left with 25 times 100, which is 2500. My 100 goes away, so I'm left with 125x. So if I divide by 125, divide by 125, I'm going to go ahead and use a calculator on this. 2,500 divided by 125 gives me 20. So it would be 20%. So 25 of 125 is literally 20%. So letter B, we need to find our part, whole, and percent. Okay? It says 14 is 20% of what number? What number will always be my x? 14, once again, is my part. 20% is my percent. So whenever I put number up here, I meant, instead of saying number, I meant the percent that we are given, not just the number, the percent. I apologize. Let me go ahead and give you guys a hint as well. When you guys are given the word of, whatever number comes after will always represent the whole, because of blank will always represent the whole number. So my part is 14. My whole, I don't know my whole, but I know that it equals 20% over 100. So I set up my percent proportion. So I'm going to multiply both by 100 and x, 100 and x. My x goes away. 100 times 14 is 1400. My 100 goes away on this side, equals 20x. If I divide by 20, I'm going to take 1400, divide by 20, and I get 70. So 70 equals x. Letter C. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can go ahead and try to set up letter C. On letter C it says, what number, so there's my x, what number is 25%, so there's my percent, and then it has of 18. 18 is my whole. So I'll put this in my template. My part is x. My whole is 18. My percent is 25, and it will always be over 100. So I'm going to multiply both by 18 and 100. 18 and 100. My 18 goes away, so that's 100x. My 100 goes away. 25 times 18, 25 times 18 gives me 450. If I divide by 100, x equals, so 450 divided by 100 gives me 4.5. That's it. So letter D. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one. On letter D it says what percent, so there's my percent, so my percent will be x of 48, so of 48, that has to be my total, is 30, so 30 has to represent my part. So if I put it in my template, my part is 30, my whole is 48, my percent, I don't know what it is, and then it's always over 100. Now, we would have 48 times 100, 48 times 100, so my 48 goes away. I'm left with 300. My 100 goes away on this side. I'm left with 48x. Divide by 48, divide by 48. So 300 divided by 48 gives me 6.25. So x equals 6.25. Letter E. Go ahead and pause the video and try. On letter E, 5%. There's my percent. Of, there's the word of, what number? So x has to stand for my whole, is 3.5. That is my part. So 3.5 is my part over my whole. I don't know. My percent was 5 that I was given, and it's always over 100. So multiply everything by x and 100, x times 100. My x goes away. 100 times 3.5 would be 350 equals, my 100 goes away, 5x. Divide both sides by 5, and that would give me 70. 70 equals x. Letter F. It says find 0.5% of 250. So find 5%, so there's my percent, of 250. 250 would have to be my whole because the word of 250. So the thing that they did not give me was the part. So my part would have to stand for my x. So my part would be x. My whole is 250. My percent is 0.5 over 100. So multiply both sides by 250 and 100. Multiply by 250 and 100. My 250 would go away. 100 times x is 100x. My 100 goes away. So 0.5 times 250, 0.5 times 250 gives me 125. Divide by 100, divide by 100. If I divide by 100, x would have to be 1.25. And that's how we do percent proportions.